All right, here we go. 53-man breakdown. 49ers have their team set. We'll see throughout the day who reverts back to the practice squad. Who were they able to retain? Who cleared waivers? We're going to discuss that, as well as I had a 49ers practice squad quarterback on the YouTube channel last night. He discussed kind of the dynamics between Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and what Trey Lance needs to do to become what we want him to be. All right, we're going to talk about all that and more right now on the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And as always, I direct you first to Locked On 49ers with myself, Brian Peacock. Make sure y'all tune into that 5 days a week. Locked On NFL Draft as well. Come at you on any platform you listen to podcasts, including YouTube as well for both of those shows. Getting into some fun stuff today, talking about the 49ers, the final roster and whatnot. If you're like, Croc, man, you look a little extra shiny today. And I'm not talking about my little chains. I'm talking about my skin, man. I worked out. Well, I ain't worked out yet. Let's talk about routine real quick. I've been working out in the mornings. I typically wake up around, 4:30 a.m. I go get a lift in, and then I come back. I edit my podcast for the Locked On Network, and then I come on here and I talk live with y'all. And it's crazy how like one little thing can just completely throw off your routine. And one thing I learned is like, Croc, you got to get back on track somehow, some way. So instead of waking up at 4:30, I probably woke up at like 7. I went on a 2-mile jog, and then it put me behind with editing the podcast. And it's just, our stuff can be thrown off just by like these small decisions, and you can be thrown out of routine. So now I got to figure out, when do I squeeze in hitting the weights today. I've been doing really good. I think I talked about it the other day, man. I'm down like 20 pounds, lost a decent amount of weight. Super shiny right now. Is my focus off? There we go. But yeah, routine. I see my guy Texas 9 says routine is huge. Routine is extremely huge, man. It's extremely huge. And once you get in the routine, you're good. And even if you kind of fall off for like one day or so, just work to get back on track. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Somebody said, how much you benching, Croc? I haven't maxed out, and it's not like I'm like bulking right now or anything. So I don't know. It's hard, right? Like if you haven't maxed out. I know last week I put 275 on the bench and hit it 3 times. I was supposed to hit it between 3 to 5 times. I hit it 3 times. I probably could have went for 5 if I had a spotter. So I know I can hit 275 a few times. I'm still, I don't know. I guess like the older you get, you retain a certain amount of muscle memory, I guess. And me now, 35 years old, yeah, I can still kind of push a little weight around, even though I'm under like 200 pounds now. I feel it. My knees feel good. That 2-mile run, typically, like especially when I start getting close to like 220 in weight, like man, my knees. If I go on a run, like my knees would ache. But right now, feel good. Anyways, let's talk about these 49ers. Last night we had Tyler Bray on the podcast. A bunch of y'all tuned in, man. I mean, we had over 200 people in there watching. So if you tuned in, good show. Had my guy Greg Pinelli on. We bring Greg on to talk about quarterbacks. I think some people in the comments were like, who is Greg Pinelli? Greg Pinelli and I, we played football together at Modesto Junior College. He trains a bunch of quarterbacks. He played FCS level, same as Trey Lance. All right, he played at Eastern Washington. They won the championship over there while he was there. But great source when it comes to the quarterback position, understanding what goes into just the mechanics of everything. I can't even start to describe like how he knows it. I mean, it becomes so damn near scientific. And I think we see it and it's just like, oh, he missed that throw. And then he'll tell you exactly why. Like with your foot and then your arm trying to catch up to your leg and then crossing your body and all these different things, your wrist being locked. And it's crazy how he can teach it. And again, he trains a bunch of guys. Trains my guy, Josh Allen. Works with Josh Allen a ton. He shows me videos of him working with Josh Allen and some of the things Josh Allen did early on There's a video he has of Josh Allen from like if I showed you guys would be like, what the heck? This is video from when Josh Allen got drafted, and they went out. They're working. He's working with a receiver, Isaiah Burst. He played in the NFL for a little bit, but like Josh Allen just completely airmails this ball like way wide right. Like just like Isaiah Burst ran like a 10, 15 yard out. Josh Allen, strong arm. I mean, it's Josh Allen, and he fires it. I mean, he literally throws this out route. I wish I could just show y'all, but I vowed to keep that video between us. But you could just see, like, he just misses bad, like hella bad, like 5 yards. He probably missed that out route, no lie, by about 6-7 yards. So you got the receiver, he runs it out, and I mean, he just throws it way behind him too. Like, not even like, oh, I threw it in front of him, I kind of let him a little too much. He threw it way behind him. But Greg breaks down, hey, this is why Josh Allen missed like this, and he shows his foot, then he's like, oh, his front stride, then this, and then his arm is trying to catch up, and it fires too quick, and then boom, you miss really bad. And it's really cool to hear him kind of break down the quarterback position and the mechanics part of it. So typically when something happens, I always revert to him. And we talked about some of that last night, but obviously we had Tyler Bray on. The 49ers signed Tyler Bray late last season to the practice squad. I believe it was when Jimmy G hurt. He wasn't going to be playing, I think, against Texans, was it? When Jimmy Garoppolo was going to miss that game. So Tyler Bray ended up signing. Obviously, Greg trains Tyler Bray, and Greg got Tyler Bray ready for that opportunity with the 49ers. But he just talked about kind of the dynamics of what he saw. And I asked him, like, what does Trey Lance need to do to even just be serviceable? Or what does Trey Lance need to do to be, ultimately what everybody wants him to be? And his response was very interesting because it was exactly what everybody else says. It's like, dude, he just needs to get reps. He just needs to throw. Like, he just hasn't thrown a whole lot. And he has to get reps. And it's crazy because everybody, including Tyler Bray, and Tyler Bray's a big dude, 6'6", 230-pound quarterback, 240 pounds or whatever, strong arm. But he sees Trey Lance and he's like, dude, like he's talented. He just needs reps. He hasn't played a lot of football. And he talked about just kind of seeing the field and how, how much timing, how important timing is in the NFL. And like, bad footwork. And I talked about, was it Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields in his first start got sacked 9 times. Like, you hold the ball a little too long in the NFL, it can result in a sack, or then it results in you trying to wait for guys to get open, then you fire the ball. Now you're trying to muscle it in there. You can be inaccurate. And young quarterbacks, they kind of go through that, a lot of them. But overcoming that, like, it's just the reps. Seeing at the NFL level, understanding the timing of it. And we saw Justin Fields go out there, and he was extremely efficient in his last outing, completed out of 14 out of 16 passes, understood what he was seeing, understood exactly what was going to be asked of him or what he needed to do to make certain throws. And it looked really good. And you saw JT O'Sullivan's breakdown, and he's like, the feet. Everything was tied to each other, the feet, the eyes. Greg Kennelly talks about that a lot. And Trey Lance right now, like, that part is off, right? And a lot of it has to do with just being comfortable, seeing things, understanding it, the footwork, tying it all together. And once he can do those things, you'll see a more consistent quarterback. But right now, he's working through that and just doesn't have a lot of reps. So Tyler Bray, that was one thing he said. Yeah, Trey Lance, like, talented dude. He needs the reps. He needs the reps. He did say, though, with how he mentioned, because he was there, he backed up. He backed up Alex Smith. Tyler Bray backed up Alex Smith for 3 years. For 4 years. And he was there for Patrick Mahomes' rookie year. And obviously Patrick Mahomes was a backup his rookie year. Tyler Bray was the third string quarterback. And he talked about from the moment Mahomes showed up, you could just tell he was just a special thrower. He was just like, dude, I got a strong arm. And he's like, it's crazy because you look at Mahomes and he's not like this physically just imposing player, but he's just like crazy arm talent. And he was like, man, that just jumped out from day one. Now, obviously, learning the NFL game, those type of things, you have to catch up from that standpoint, but he was just like special thrower. He did not say that about Trey Lance. At least I didn't get that vibe. All right. But, it was cool to hear, Tyler Bray's perspective on really not just that, but, just the 49ers quarterback dynamic there. And I asked him about Alex Smith. And this stuff, you could see this stuff on the show last night. But I asked him about Alex Smith and helping Patrick Mahomes. And he was like, well, when, who was it? Ryan Tannehill. He was like, Ryan Tannehill, when he said, it's not my job to help the young guy, he was like, that was kind of Alex Smith too. Now, if they're in a meeting room, like, yeah, not going to be an asshole. Yeah, I'll help you. All right. But if, like, it's not like he went over to Patrick Mahomes' house. It was like, all right, let's study this so I can help you. Like, it wasn't that type of relationship. And he said with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, at least from what he was able to see, it wasn't that type of relationship either. But in the meeting rooms, he was very open to helping Trey Lance. If he sees something, he's going to help him. And he said it will be like that while Jimmy Garoppolo is the backup as well. All right, you're the backup. And he said really it's the backup's job to always talk to the starting quarterback and prepare him. He told me about when him and, gosh, what's the dude's name? The quarterback that's really little that has made a ton of money, Chase Daniel. He told me about how Chase Daniel, him and Chase Daniel, it was their job really to prepare Mr. Trubisky. And him and Chase Daniel would be in like an hour before Trubisky. They'd cut up everything, break down everything, talk about what they're seeing, and then they would give that information to Mr. Trubisky. So backup quarterback's job to get the starting quarterback ready. Real quick, give Croc some props. Only credentialed member of the press to tell fans to stop trying to read between the lines and take Kyle Ninja at face value. Well, I'm not a credentialed member of the media. I was at one point. And that was fun. It was actually funner with the practices, with training camp practices, as opposed to the actual games. I'm not gonna lie, I did not like being a credentialed member of the games. I thought that, when I'm watching the 49ers, I want to be a fan watching them. And I still watch it through the lens of a former football player, but I want to be a fan watching the game. When you are a credentialed member of the media and you're up there, the experience was cool. And I was a credentialed member for like 4 games during the 2019 season, the Super Bowl run. The experience, it was cool. Just, okay, I get to say I did that. And then, post game, I'm in there, I'm asking questions to DeForest Buckner. I'm asking questions to Richard Sherman, Kyle Shanahan. Like, that part is cool, but I won't do it again. I wouldn't do it again. I like being able to cheer. And when the 49ers beat the Arizona Cardinals with the walk-off touchdown, right? When Jimmy Garoppolo threw that, was a Texas route or whatever you want to call it, to Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson goes in, he scores a touchdown to win the game. I could not cheer. I'm in the media press box and I'm just like, and you can kind of hear the other murmurs, like where other people are kind of like, there is this certain level of excitement, but you can't say anything or you can't cheer. You can look, I would look next to Rob Louder or KP from Niners Nation and I would say something. Or my girl, MJ Acosta, she would sit next to me a lot. She's now on NFL Network. But yeah. Pretty cool. It was pretty cool, that experience. But I wouldn't do it again. I like going to the game as a fan, interacting with everybody, cheering, talking shit, all that good stuff. All right. But anyways, man, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Shout out to my guy, Daniel Kelly, in here as a former Jet Scout. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Wait. This one's Daniel. Which one's Daniel Kelly? Daniel Kelly. This one? The one that says Daniel Kelly, or the as a former Jet Scout one? Shout out to, somebody said, why can't you cheer? Because you're there to cover the game as a member of the media. And as a member of the media, you can't be like cheering. You can't cheer for a team. You're supposed to be, what's the word? Like impartial? What's the word? Like you're not supposed to be cheering one way or the other. You're supposed to cover the game as you see it, and without any type of bias reporting. I'm kind of saying that wrong, but you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, you can't cheer at all. That would be like, why is this fan in here? You know what I'm saying? Get this fan out of here. Non-objective. There we go. Unbiased, non-objective. All right, but anyways, man, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All the folks in here, let's get to this 53-man roster. Real quick, last thing before we get started. Somebody keeps commenting on, like, he's like, Croc, your mouth is dry. My mouth isn't dry, pause. But for some reason, and I don't know why, when I say this, pause, all right? I think he's hearing me do that or something. My mouth isn't dry. I don't know what's going on, but over the last week or so, my mouth has been extremely wet, pause, or extremely wet. Like, I feel like I'm doing that like 30 times a minute. Like, I've been like on Locked On Network. I'm doing ad reads, and I'm just like, I don't know. Mouth has been super wet, pause. But anyways, let's talk about this 53-man roster. First surprise. Quarterback position, obviously, Nate Sudfeld didn't make it. So the 49ers, Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. And I would say that's the Brock Purdy thing is surprising. Nate Sudfeld, and anyone now, anyone at the practices could probably tell you, he was the most consistent quarterback at practice. And that's not to say that, Trey Lance one day won't be better than him or whatever. I think clearly Trey Lance just has more talent. All right. But he was the most consistent quarterback at practice. And the cool thing about watching Nate Sudfeld, because obviously Jimmy Garoppolo has been a 49ers quarterback for a while, it was cool to see a quarterback use all levels of the field. He threw with zip. He threw with touch. He threw down the field. He was dropping bombs in there left and right. He was the most consistent quarterback. We saw that carry over to the game. I saw him do some really cool things against the Packers. He followed that up against the Vikings. He made some good throws on the move. There was one throw, I think it was against the Packers, where it was like he rolled out left and he's about to get tackled. And he flicks this ball, throws it to the only spot he could get it to, and then one of the quarterbacks, Austin Mack or something like that, he dropped it. And then he had a great throw against the Vikings where he's rolling left, flicks it across his body, great completion on the side. Like, he was the most consistent quarterback and showed, again, maybe not upside in the sense of mobility, but just from the pocket, he was better than Brock Purdy. Now, if you want to keep Brock Purdy, because, he's cheaper, he's younger, and, he could be a backup for 4 years to Trey Lance, cool. Okay, I understand that. But just in the sense of who was better, to me, at least, at practice, it was clear that Nate Sudfeld was the better between those guys. So it was a little surprising, but not surprising just in the sense of because Jimmy Garoppolo is back, it made more sense. It did. Yeah, it made more sense. Here we go. Got Daniel Kelly. When I watch Trey Lance play, I see a clone of Deshaun Kaiser. You know what, Daniel? I could see how someone would say that, right? And one thing about Deshaun Kaiser, and I think this is the part that I would expect you to understand because you were a scout. Guys can have similar talent. They can have similar abilities. How do they work? And this is why you know what, Daniel? This is what I challenge you to do. When you are evaluating a prospect or when you are giving your analysis, it's easy to say, oh, this guy looks like that or this guy looks like that. What do they need to improve on? Can they improve on those things? How do they do it? So I think with Deshaun Kaiser, it wasn't a lack of talent. It wasn't a lack of ability with Deshaun Kaiser, right? We saw things that he was able to do. We saw upside, etc. How does he reach his potential? How does he reach his upside? And that should be the thing. So when you talk about Trey Lance looking like Deshaun Kaiser, I could see how, yeah, okay, similar ability, talent. Deshaun Kaiser, the reason why he didn't work out was not because of the inability to do something. He showed the ability to do it all. How can he reach his full potential? And I think that's the same thing with anybody, right? Whether you're drafted first round, second round, third round, etc. How do you reach your full potential and ability? So you can start off looking like Deshaun Kaiser, and you can end up looking like, I don't know, Dak Prescott. Matter of fact, Dak Prescott looked like Deshaun Kaiser, but in a better situation. Imagine being Deshaun Kaiser, right? Imagine being Deshaun Kaiser and being drafted to the Cleveland Browns when they won 0 games, right? Or they won 1 game over 30 They had over a 2-year span, they won one game. That's one of the wildest things I've ever seen. So in 2 years, they went 1-31. Imagine going to that dumpster fire. They have no plan for you or anything. And how that can mess you up psychologically on the field. How that can mess up how you prepare. And the one thing you have to realize is, who is DeShone Kizer mentally? So is he someone that is going to really work to go above and beyond to overcome whatever current circumstances he was in? Is he going to overcome whatever shortcomings he has? That's part of evaluating. So I know, Daniel Kelly, you were a scout, right? Or whatever you did. That I would expect you to come with more analysis like that. Hey, this is what this guy needs to do to improve. Can he do it? We'll see. But you don't do that. You just bash players, or you just say what a player is not going to be. I think that's easy to do. What's harder to do is to point out and identify where this player needs to improve. I talked about Danny Gray, and I evaluated Danny Gray. I saw areas of where I think he's at in his development, and it's clear, like, man, he has speed, he has straight line speed. But hey, these are areas where I feel like he struggles. The short area quickness, the ability to play fast through route on underneath routes to free himself up, getting off a press, etc. He might be, I'm trying to think of the DeShone Kizer version of a receiver. I don't know. AJ Jenkins, I don't know. Maybe he could be closer to AJ Jenkins, right? Where it's like, man, he can run straight, he can blow the top off if you're playing off against him. Cornerbacks can't turn around with him, but man, he can't do much else. All right, whatever. Well, can he work on those things? Can he fix it? And if so, what does he look like then? Well, damn, then maybe you're getting Mike Wallace instead of AJ Jenkins or something, right? Like, but it's easy to just be like, but he'll never get that done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not only on the coaches to develop, because coaches develop you. There's not as much developing going on at the NFL level from a physical standpoint. All right. At the NFL level, development happens mentally. The athlete, the ability, or whatever, like, you kind of are what you are when you get to the NFL. Now, outside of being there, are you going to work with a personal trainer that's going to really help you, refine your game and work on those things? That's where the work comes in. That's where, you hear people say a jump from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. What are you doing outside of being at the organization? Because the organization, your receiver coach, your defensive back coach, their main goal is to get you mentally prepared to be able to go out there and play a game. The technical aspect of it happens in the offseason. So when I tell y'all Trey Lance, and I've been saying this, right? Like, man, like, there's some accuracy things that he needs to work on. That's cool. Can he get by on it? Can he get by on being able to, create some off-script throws or plays and whatever? Like, yeah, Kyle Shanahan, great offensive mind. He has great weapons around him, so you can still win with where he's at. But his real jumps are going to be worked in the offseason. That's why I've said that before. So people, oh man, prove it accurate. Oh yeah, like, eventually that'll come the more he knows what he's seeing, etc. But a lot of his jumps are going to come from the work that he puts in the offseason. All right, but this is not, I'm not trying to, like, expose anybody. I'm just saying, I see you on Twitter. I follow you. And, I see what you've been saying, and, I laugh at it and whatnot, but Modesto is not real 209. And I had another super chat. Damn, my bad. I had another super chat. But I think it's easy. Here we go. I think it's easy to, this guy is that. But real talent evaluators look at, hey, how do we get this guy to be what we need him to be? How do we get him to that point? So yeah, DeShone Kizer. All right. But who's to say that there wasn't more in DeShone Kizer? That either DeShone Kizer didn't have the work ethic or the mindset to get out of himself, or the situation that he was in Cleveland, being on that trash team, ruined him mentally. My best preparation came from the best teams I was on. My worst preparation came from the worst teams I was on. That's not a great thing. I'm not saying that's great. I'm just saying, that was just how it was. Oh, I did read this. Okay, I did read this. My bad. I did read that. Trey Lance fundamentals are horrid. All right. Let's say, yes, he needs to work on those. Can you not fix fundamentals? Can you not work on fundamentals? So again, yes, you identify what most people know. He needs to clean up some things. Can you not clean it up? Does he not have the mental capacity to fix those things? Does he not have the ability? Does he not have the work ethic to fix those things? And that's why during the evaluating process, you also evaluate the person. You also evaluate the person. Fundamentals. You can work on that. Now, will he work on it? Will he work on getting better? We'll see. He comes off as the person that will. Why would you work on fundamentals on a win now team? You work on fundamentals because you're an NFL player. You are an NFL player. That's why you continue to work. Everybody coming in has their things that they need to work on. Everybody. And nobody, there's no like perfect prospect. There's no perfect quarterback prospect. Justin Fields was my QB1. He didn't have a great year. Nobody had a great year. I mean, and you can say even with all the fundamentals, Mac Jones has the best fundamentals of any quarterback from that class. I saw him throw an interception right to a fucking linebacker. Like, I mean, when I say throw it right to him, it's just like I'm throwing the ball, and really there are 5 guys around, and he threw it straight to, he hit the linebacker in the chest. What do fundamentals have to do? Like, all these guys have different things that they need to work on. All right, I'm going to get off that now. Let's get back to the 53-man roster. I thought that Nate Sudfeld was the better most consistent between the quarterbacks at camp, but they went with Purdy, and I understand it. All right, running backs, I was surprised by this. They let go of JaMychal Hasty. That was very surprising to me. He was the one guy that had a role with the 49ers. He was their third down back. In big situations, not just, he's a third down back. When Jimmy Garoppolo, and no knock on Jimmy, but when he threw the behind the back, no look, Magic Johnson interception to end the NFC Championship game, he was throwing to JaMychal Hasty, who was in there. Like, he had a role with the 49ers. And then they kept a bunch of running backs. Wait a minute. Where is, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon. Yeah, so Ty Davis Price, Jordan Mason. So, and we'll see if this, holds true. We'll see if this holds true. But who's the third down guy? Like, who's the guy where it's like, hey, we're going to line this guy up. He's going to run routes from the backfield. He's going to catch passes. He's going to do those things. You knew JaMychal Hasty had that and special teams value. So I was a little surprised to see him let go. Not going to lie. And the fact that they kept Trey Sermon, which I don't see the explosiveness that I would ideally like to see. So whatever they're trying to work through, we'll see if he can overcome it. But it's just like, man, where's the burst? Where's the speed? Where's the dynamic ability? I've seen it at some point from the other guys, even like Ty Davis Price, who hasn't gotten off, but we've seen those flashes. Surprised, I'm just surprised with Trey Sermon. Not surprised because I understand roster politics, but surprised that they kept him over, I guess. All right, here we go. Receivers, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Danny Gray, Ray McLeod. No surprises there outside of keeping 5 instead of 6 and no Malik Turner. Will Malik Turner clear waivers and be able to come back to the 49ers? That's definitely something to keep an eye on. But, the special teams aspect, has some speed, has some run after catch ability. Didn't think that Malik Turner would be a guy who catches 40 passes, but, man, can he catch 18 passes? I thought he could be that type of guy. Roster crunch, when you keep 3 quarterbacks and you keep 5 running backs, then you have to make decisions, and not even 5 running backs, 6 backs when you include Kyle Juszczyk, you lose a guy like Malik Turner. And I'm not saying he was just this pivotal guy, but as a gunner, as that kind of 6th receiver, as a guy who could dress up, special teams, all that, I thought there was value there. All right. Tight ends, George Kittle, Ross Dwelly, Charlie Warner, no surprises there. Tyler Kroft, maybe he comes back. We'll see, because the 49ers have a few players that they're going to put on IR. I think everybody's a little bit surprised by Poe being released, especially over Nick Zakelj, who it's like, man, Nick Zakelj? That one was interesting. They did not keep Jason Poe. So maybe they bring him back on practice squad. We'll see if he clears waivers. I know a lot of people are like, man, he's not going to clear waivers. He might. He just might not be what NFL teams are looking for because of the lack of size. But then again, we'll see. So that's something to keep an eye on. But the offensive line, as it stands, Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, Mike McGlinchey, those are your starters. Colt McKivitz, Nick Zakelj, Daniel Brunskill, and Jalen Moore. And when I was coming on here, I saw somebody say, man, Jalen Moore, man, he was trash. I'd say Jalen Moore, if you just go off of the last game, he was terrible at tackle. He was terrible. What we saw from him last year was nothing like what we just saw against Houston Texans. So I don't know why he was so terrible. I don't know why he was so bad in that. I mean, he was terrible. Turnstile tackle. But I'd say there's a better version of Jalen Moore in there. That was bad, though. That was bad. All right, let's look at the defense here. All right, Nick Bosa on that D-line. We're talking about defensive linemen here. Your starters. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Samson Ebicam. That's a good D-line. That is a talented defensive line. I like the reserves as well. Charles Omenihu, Kevin Givens, Hassan Ridgeway, Drake Jackson. Think you ideally would like to be a little bigger in the middle, pause, with some of the reserve guys, but we'll see how. I really like Kevin Givens. And then you have Kerry Hyder. Super chat here. Do you think Ray can be the new third down back? Ray McLeod, third down back? I mean, I guess you can line him up there, but he can't pass protect. So part of being a third down back is being able to pass protect as well. He's no threat to pass protect. 49ers play Chicago Bears week 1. Would you want Ray McLeod having to be in there? I mean, you just wouldn't do it. But it's like, oh, man, maybe they're bringing a blitz. I got to keep you in here to block. Oh, man, you got to block Quinn coming off the edge, who had like 20 sacks last year or whatever. Not happening. You don't want that. I know a lot of people are like, man, Trey, that was a surprise cut. I say, yeah, a little surprising with the Trey. Not crazy surprising, but, if you told me, hey, the backup edge rushers are Drake Jackson and Charles Omenihu, and Trey didn't make it, I could see that. Linebackers, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shaair, no surprise there. Curtis Robinson, who will go to IR. Then they got Orrin Burks and Flanagan Fowles. So Curtis Robinson, once he goes to IR, that opens up a roster spot. But outside of that, no other big surprises. Cornerbacks, your starting secondary looks good with Jimmy Ward. When you don't have Jimmy Ward, it starts to look a little weird. All right, so Travarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley on the outside, Samuel Womack in the slot. Really like that. And the one thing I really like about Samuel Womack, just his ability to be able to truly run with like the vertical. All right, hey, chill, Croc with the wet mouth. Dude, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm just thirsty. Somebody tell me why that's happening. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. I went on a 2-mile run this morning. I'm still kind of sweaty from it. I don't know if I don't know what's going on. Definitely wet mouth. Pause. All right. But Travarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, really like it. Samuel Womack, really like him as a nickel. All right. I liked K'Waun Williams. Williams didn't really give you that vertical defender type game. Underneath, how many people were better than K'Waun Williams underneath, right? Guarding 5 yards and then blitzing off the edge. He was really a playmaker off blitzes. How many fumbles did he force? He was terrific there. But anything vertically pushing is like, damn, yeah, I don't trust him at all. And that kind of limits what you could do. If you run a single high defense, and these teams are throwing slot fades left and right, and we saw Womack defend a slot fade. Do you remember what it looked like when Kwan Williams, love Shark? Do y'all remember what he looked like when he was covering slot phase? Not great. So you get that, and it gives you more versatility with your defense when you have Samuel Womack. All right, now the safeties, Talanoa Hufanga, Jimmy Ward, those are your starting guys. Jimmy Ward on IR. Who's going to be the starting free safety? If I had to guess, I'd say Tarvarius Moore. And then you have George Odom. Oh, also the reserve cornerbacks. Ambry Thomas, Diamador Lenore. I think you can live with that. They cut Castro Fields. I guess that he's a practice squad candidate. All right. But George Odom, Tarvarius Moore. I mean, that's your team. I think it's a good roster. All right, enough of me talking. I've been talking for 35 minutes. I'm going to bring y'all along. We might not go as long today, but here's the link in the chat. So if you want to come on, you want to talk about it, feel free. He said we are too close. We are too close as a fan base. Yeah. Croc, what's in the thermos? Oh, it's just water. It's just ice water. I really only drink water. Here we go. We got Dion coming on. Dion, good morning, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good with you, Croc. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm chilling.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling about the roster?
Not a lot of surprises to me as far as the roster goes. The only real surprise is the fact that 10 is still around, which everyone knows I don't care for and I don't like. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just that guy that always stays outside of the box when it comes to the Niners. A lot of people say trust Kyle, trust John. They don't lie. They tell you the truth.
I don't.
And me personally, I'm sorry. I feel like they lied to us most of the time.
When do you think they lied to us?
They told us that Kyle got up on that podium, I don't know how many times, and stated that he was definitely expecting Jimmy to be traded and to be moved, and not be on his team. It took them forever to let go of D Ford, even though Kyle at least one time was actually truthful and said he's not going to be a part of our plans in the future. I don't know, man. It's just something. And everybody, look, to everybody out there, your opinion is your opinion. Mine is mine. We can agree to disagree. But the one thing that I will not tolerate is people telling me how I should feel. I watched another content creator state that basically if you don't roll with what the franchise does, you're not in tune with them. You really don't cover them and you know nothing. And I was looking so you just supposed to be docile and, succumb to whatever the franchise wants. It's no disrespect to Greg Papa, but I don't work directly for the 49ers. Greg Papa goes along with whatever they say. If Jimmy's in there, he supports Jimmy. If Trey's in there, he supports Trey. He has to do that. He works for the team. I don't. I'm just a fan. So for people out there to say stuff like that, to me, is ignorance, only because everyone is entitled to their opinion. I don't 100%. Like the fact that I don't like the fact that 10 is still here. I don't like the fact that we paying this man almost $8 million to do not a goddamn thing. Everybody else is jumping on board. Oh, we have the greatest backup, blah, blah, blah. I'm of the mindset I don't like it strictly based on the fact that now you got the young kid looking over his shoulder. What if the fans in that stadium see him making mistakes and now you got a chant for I want Jimmy. Put Jimmy in. What happens if the locker room, even though they've been told on several occasions this is Trey Lance's team, what if they do the same thing they did last year? When they didn't like when Trey was going in and out, they went to Kyle and said, hey, man, don't do this. We need you to keep Jimmy in because it's messing with his continuity and it's messing with his leadership. So what happens if they decide to come to him again and say, hey, man, the kid's just not ready. We have Jimmy. We were winning with him. Let's go. What happens if Lance gets hurt and then he comes in and wins a couple of games? This is just a disaster for me.
Here's my thoughts. And again, I respect everybody's opinion. Yeah. I think, and I said this yesterday, and this is on the quarterback position or Trey Lance in general. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are projecting, and I'm not saying your insecurities on the quarterback position, but a lot of people are projecting their insecurities on the quarterback position in the sense of not feeling. I think deep down there are people that feel like, man, I don't know how ready Trey Lance is. So it's like, man, what if this happens? What if this happens? As opposed to just, hey, man, look, let Trey Lance play. And if Trey Lance is who we believe, he will play to a level that makes it to where at least the people saying, oh, bench Trey Lance are coming from people that just maybe have no idea or understanding of what goes into it. But I expect Trey Lance to play at a level enough to where, like, man, you're winning games. You're winning games, and he'll be in there, and he'll be fine. That's what I expect. So
Yeah.
when I see Jimmy Garoppolo as, you know, a $6.5 million backup quarterback, it's just that. It's just an insurance policy. I get what you're saying, though. I think the noise will come more from fans as opposed to people in the locker room. I think people in the locker room understand the dynamics. They understood the dynamics when the trade happened. They didn't want to maybe mess up dynamics last season during the year. But right now, it is what it is. Thanks, babe.
I'll see you later.
All right. Right now, you know, it kind of is what it is in the sense of, hey, they understand what it is. Kyle has explained it to them. This is what it is, and you got to be on board with it. And the one thing about, again, I talk about my time with the Jets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Geno Smith, seeing Mark Sanchez. Every day we turn on the TV, like I'd be in the cafeteria eating breakfast. They're talking about the New York Jets on TV. Those conversations were not happening in the building, not within the players. We didn't talk about the quarterback competition between Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez. Not once. I don't remember mentioning it one time to any other players, whether we're in the hotels, whether I'm at somebody's house, whatever. Not one time was it ever like, man, who you think winning this quarterback battle? Hey, who get the best chance? It was just like, man, I got to do what I got to do. I gotta play my game. On TV, they talk about it. They speculate it. It's clickbait, whatever. They can have those discussions, but inside those weren't happening. Unless the only time it happened is if Trey Lance is just so bad, which again, that's speculating because I don't even think that's going to happen. I think more times than not, we'll see Trey Lance, what he was against Houston in the regular season last year. We'll see some version of that. There'll be some good throws. There'll be some bad throws. There'll be some, I mean, he completed 70% of his passes. I'm not saying he's going to be a 70% guy, but I'd say out of 17 games, he's going to have more games of that version of him as opposed to what we saw that last preseason game with no offensive tackles. And I'm not saying there won't be those moments. I think there will, but I think most of us would agree that, well, yeah, those are some of the things that, I mean, it wasn't always great with Jimmy Garoppolo, but the results ended up being in the win. I think we'll see that. So that's just kind of my opinion. Kyle was banking on Trey Lance, the person, being able to handle this and the pressure. Will he? We'll see. But I'm not worried about Trey Lance.
I'm not worried about him myself. I don't think there's a problem. Like, I have no issues with knowing that there's going to be ups and downs and ins and outs as far as the franchise, as far as him, developing as a quarterback. So I'm not worried about that. I have no issues, no quarrels, no qualms about it. I just, I don't particularly care for the fact that 10 is still here. Everybody knows me and knows how I feel about him, man. I wish he was gone. And to be honest with you, we just basically did the work for another team because we told him you can go renegotiate your contract with anybody you feel. But nobody wanted to do that. So we did the work for them. And now, if by some freak of nature chance he is traded, you know what I'm saying? Basically, that team gets off scot-free. They didn't have to rework nothing or do anything. He's just sitting there on a regular contract. It's easy money, and you don't have to worry about it. I mean, with Deshaun Watson being suspended 11 games, you might consider that over there in Cleveland. The Giants, they're probably going to look like trash this year. So you might even consider them a trade partner just due to the fact that now he has a rework contract. The issue with me on that is, why didn't you come to him when he was going through his rehab and say, let's rework this to see if we can find you a better home? Because it would make more sense to do that then than do it now. Like, you're going to wait till the day before cut day to give this dude a new contract, and you could have done this a long time ago and just said, hey, man, we're going to find you a new home. This is a rework deal. It works better for you. It works better for us. And on top of that, if that's the case, you might as well have cut him. You're only paying him an extra mil more. You're already about to pay a quarterback that definitely ain't playing for you $2 million because you cut him and guaranteed him that cash. So it's just sometimes
I hear what you're saying. And again, I try to look at it from all angles.
Yeah.
And this is just me looking at it from Kyle Shanahan's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 years where the 49ers were just horrible, right?
Yeah.
With, having to play with Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard, Brian Hoyer, some of these guys, and some of the issues came from because, Jimmy Garoppolo is injured. And because of that, Kyle's overall record looks the way it does because of those seasons. And if I'm Kyle Shanahan and I pay $6.5 million to a guy because I believe I won't, like, whether I have Trey Lance out there, man, I'm winning, we're good. But okay, if he goes down, which hopefully he doesn't, right? Hopefully Trey Lance plays all 17 games and goes into the playoffs and all that great stuff. But in the event that he doesn't, which has happened multiple times with him so far, I have somebody who I feel like can win games, and I've won games with him. So again, I'm just looking at it from Kyle's perspective. Look, we're all adults here. Trey Lance, he said, hey, I went to Trey Lance. We talked. What do you think about Jimmy coming back? Trey Lance was like, man, great. Like, he helped me so much. He's there. He said Jimmy Garoppolo understands his role. All they can focus on is what they got going in that building. They can't focus on the perception from the outside. They can't focus on the perception from the fans. They can't focus on, there's a bad throw. Now people are chanting, Jimmy, Jimmy. Like, they can't focus on that. What's going to help us win games and what's going to make it to where there's no drop-off if there's an injury. And if the right situation presents itself, Jimmy Garoppolo will be traded. Will it happen? We'll see.
I can only hope, man. That's just me. Some people are cool with it. Everybody's like, oh, man, it's the greatest backup situation. Me personally, don't like him as a player. Don't know him as a human. Not to like him as a human being.
Well, hold on. I'm going to say that. Okay, Dion, and I'm not telling you how to feel.
I don't care for him as a player. I don't.
I get you, but the 40, I get what you're saying. But with him at quarterback, the 49ers have had some level of success. And I'm not saying it's him. But it was enough with him at the quarterback position to be like, if he's on the team until he gets traded or whatever, like, all right. Like, I feel like you should be able to at least see that part.
Yes, they had some level of success under while Jimmy Garoppolo was here. But my thing is, I honestly think like Stephen A. I think of several things before I think of Jimmy Garoppolo when it comes to the actual success of the 49ers. There have been too many times where I've literally looked over the stats and the numbers, and the things that he did in games honestly didn't even matter. Like, some of the things that he did were almost irrelevant to a fault when you look at what the real outcome of the game is. Take the Saints game in 2019, for example. We don't win that game if Emmanuel Sanders doesn't have that trick play and throw a touchdown. That's not that. I mean, yes, that was built in by Kyle, but either way, if that touchdown is thrown, we're not up. Like, there's just a variety of things. And then my biggest thing is I don't like quarterbacks who disappear in the playoffs. And he disappears. And no one can tell me different because nobody with a 4-2 record in the playoffs should have stats like his.
I get you.
Technically, they should be 0-6. Those are facts, and nobody can dispute that much.
All right, can just answer me this one, and then I'll get to the next caller.
Yeah.
Do you, at the very least, think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a good backup?
Yes, that much is true. He is definitely a good backup.
Look at him through those eyes. Look at him through the lenses of he is literally he is legitimately the 49ers backup quarterback. Like, that's your backup. This is Trey Lance's team. He's your backup. That's how you got to look at it. So if you like that, then just like understand it for that, and then understand when the moment presents itself, the moment it does, if they can move him, he will be traded.
Yeah, but the thing is, the moment ain't presented itself all off season.
It hasn't.
And it hasn't presented itself now. So until that when that happens, believe me, I'll be the happiest person on the planet. People will know. But I appreciate you having me on, Croc. Nothing but
All right,
love to you,
Dion.
baby. And I know it's gonna be a lot of people in the comments probably talking a bunch of shit, but I don't care.
mean, you know, there's gonna be people they understand. They understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right, Croc.
right.
Have a good one, man.
All right. I got another caller coming on. Somebody said, "What is the caller talking about?" So, I see. Hey, I saw the super chat today. All right, here we go. Got my guy coming on. I know he's coming in hot. Swan Song, what's good, man?
What's up? He's a backup. Yes, if Jimmy stays a backup, I'm fine with it. If Trey gets a short leash because Jimmy's there, I'm not fine with it. Now
Hold on. This right here, what do you think about this from Terradome?
Yeah, it is. It's like it almost mirrors it, right?
It almost mirrors it.
Except Tony Romo's a lot better. No, just kidding. I think I think
Romo
so,
and
actually.
Jimmy is kind of the same person.
Yeah, it
One
is.
just threw for probably more yards, but
Right. I like the gunslinger more of Tony Romo than at least Tony Romo is a gunslinger though. But whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So I just think they're very similar.
Yeah.
You can nitpick at like, well, Tony Romo does this a little bit better, maybe Jimmy does this a little, but for the most part, you're getting the same guy, right? So from that, like the situation just in general, Dak Prescott took over a team where his rookie year he didn't have to do much, right? From the standpoint of like, hey, we're gonna lean on this run game. We got Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. He's gonna lead the league in rushing. We have a great offensive line, and that was big because I think that helped. Because again, I gotta find this stat. I gotta find it, but I saw a stat: Trey Lance with a clean pocket. It was had the highest quarterback rating ever for a rookie with a clean pocket. Unfortunately, you're not always going to have a clean pocket, but that was the main thing with Dak Prescott that rookie year. Clean pocket, run game, defense played great. They won a bunch of games, right?
Yeah.
And he had a backup who was Tony Romo, who I'm pretty sure most people were just waiting, like, when is Dak Prescott going to mess up? When he's going to mess up? When is he going to? Well, it never happened. So they let go of Tony Romo after the year. He retired, whatever. They were going to let go regardless.
Yeah, but the big difference.
Go ahead.
The big difference is Dak Prescott was a second-round pick that fans didn't have any expectations, just like what you're saying.
Fourth round.
Yeah, fourth round. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just kind of like, okay, he's just going to be, a quarterback that we're going to kick the tires on, right? Because that's what a fourth-round quarterback is, kind of, right? Like,
yeah,
we'll see. He might be a backup.
Part of it was his DUI, but yeah.
So that's the difference, right? And then I don't think the Cowboys were in the type of team that we have now, right? Like, meaning just was at the NFC Championship, a Super Bowl contending team, right? So those, and then dude, our offensive line, we'll see what's up with that though, right? Like, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it's all going to just magically come together like it has before. But I want to see if Kyle's true to his word, like what is, if he's going to stick by Trey, then great, right? Hey, and Trey has to play because, it's the NFL, dude. You can't go out there crapping the bed, right? Not saying that he will, but like, fans can't think, oh, you know what? You got to keep him in there if he's trash, no matter what, for this amount of period, right? There's only so much of that he could do. But my question is, if they're 2-3, right? And Trey has just all right? Like, sometimes it looks bad, sometimes it looks good. Just kind of like what we've seen, right? 49ers are 2-3, and our sixth opponent is the Rams. I mean, I'm not saying that. I don't even know who our sixth opponent is, but let's just say the Rams are our sixth opponent. What if Kyle replaced him then, right? In the sixth game, they're 2-3. He hasn't looked that bad, and puts Jimmy in. I'm not cool with it, right? Oh crap! I don't hear you. Okay, go ahead.
when I was on mute. That's more again. That's more like speculation. At the end, like,
Right. You're right.
can
You're right.
Trey Lance play a certain level of like, okay, like you're cool, you're afloat? Because remember, we're people. If you call for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think Dion said it best just now. Like, it wasn't like it was great. Like, he was along for the ride. So can
Right.
Trey Lance just be along for the ride?
Right.
Like, that is the minimum level of, and I'm not saying Jimmy did things well. I think he was a good third down quarterback, etc. But it was clear we're watching, like, man, they're not winning because of him most of the time.
Right.
Maybe
I
because
understand
of
what you're
his
saying.
ability to keep drives going at times, right?
Right. And if
That was
Kyle,
good.
if Kyle keeps to his word, now players' emotions, that's a different thing though, right? Like, they're 2-3 and the Rams are up. Now, the players probably think more of Jimmy than pretty much anyone, right? I think. Like, I don't know. Let me ask you a question. I was thinking of this backstage. Is when you were a player, right? I know you, like, when a quarterback did something bad and you're on the defensive side, they throw a pick. Like, I don't know if you ever played with bad quarterbacks, right? I'm not trying to have you throw Greg Pinelli under the bus, right? But when they threw a pick where you're like, damn, that dude did it again. Like, bro, start the second QB.
Nah,
Like, this guy's killing us.
During the game, you didn't really have, I mean, at least my experience, we didn't really have time to think about that. You really are just focused on your job. At least that's what I was.
But you're on the sideline though, watching this.
Yeah, but once a change of possession happens, you just got to go in.
Right. But I'm talking about as it happens when you're in the sideline.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, if you see an interception thrown, you grab your
Oh,
helmet and you run in.
right. You have no time. I got you. I feel you. Because
Like, so
okay,
you
like,
don't even think about, our quarterback threw another pick or whatever. It's like interception. They call, damn, what? I can't think of what it's called. It's called something, right? Sudden change. Wait, no. Yeah, it's like sudden change or something like that, where, we're chilling, we're talking about what we're going over defensively. Hey, we're seeing this, we're seeing that. Interception. Boom, grab your helmet, you run on the field.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wrestled, so I was never in a team sport. But there were times when the team's winning and then the guy next up might be like a freshman or might be someone that, is just okay. And then it starts looking bad and you're like, oh, damn. I mean, you're hoping that he's going to win, right? But at the same time, you're like, damn, dude, no, don't let this happen again. Inside your head anyways. But yeah, I mean, I think when it comes, my last point, I think when it comes with Jimmy is that hopefully a trade can materialize now since it's shown that we value him, that the 49ers value him. Because if you have something, like, imagine if someone leaves something out by the curb, right, for the trash to get picked up. You're going to automatically undervalue it, right? When you see that no one has a value for something, and I know all these guys are pro scouts and all that stuff, but they're still humans. If they see that you don't value something, then of course in their back of their mind they're gonna be like, well, why don't they value him? Yeah, this kind of adds up, right? But now that Jimmy is actually on the team, that he has a value, granted it's a backup value, right? A desperate team is not going to be thinking of all the deficiencies and stuff. And a desperate team, like I've always said before, desperate people, desperate teams, they're always superly optimistic of how a situation will go. So, but at the same point, I'm not sure the 49ers trade him because if it's week 8, the 49ers are 6-2, right? Right? They're 6-2. Everything looks good. Trey Lance looks good. Blah, 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 blah. Do you trade Jimmy? I don't. I would keep him.
What am I getting offered?
You're getting a second.
I mean, if you told me you traded a second to get Jimmy Garoppolo, you went to an NFC Championship game and a Super Bowl with him, and then you still are able to recruit a second round pick for him,
Yeah?
I'd say that's a good deal.
Yeah, I definitely a good deal. But would you take it? Because at 6-2, what if Trey Lance goes down week 9 for 3 games or whatever, right? You'd
Well,
be
what if
like,
he just
damn.
doesn't get hurt? Like that's what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying.
true.
We keep
Yeah,
everybody
yes,
keeps saying,
true.
well, what if
True.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
What if he
I
just
get
plays and he's cool and he like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but, yeah. But check it
like,
out.
I don't want to like. I think everybody keeps trying to like. Well, if he gets hurt, if he did this and that, and I understand it, but it's just like most quarterbacks, they just play.
Yeah, it's true. I personally, at 6-2, if I saw that everything was cool in the locker room and all that stuff, I would say, you know what, I'm keeping him as a backup because I don't want Brock Purdy out there, and I don't want Brock Purdy and Trey Lance to have in the playoffs a QB room with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. I'm not saying that I'm blaming them for anything other than just being young, right? Like I'd rather have a veteran in there too to kind of help kind of steer the ship of like when you go into playoffs and stuff. To me, a third and a second, yeah, there's a difference there because it's a third round comp pick, right? Which is actually a fourth. But it wouldn't be that easy for me. Let's put it that way. It wouldn't be that easy for me just go, oh, you know what, I'm trading him. But so that I give credit to that much that Jimmy is a backup QB, a good backup QB.
Right. All right, Swan. So I'm gonna get to the next caller. All right.
All right, thanks, man.
All right. Real quick, my guy Roscoe says Romo and Jimmy is not the same. Stop, Croc. I think if you just look at numbers, you would say, oh man, like Romo had much better years. You know, he did. I mean, some of these years he threw a lot of interceptions. 19 interceptions, 14 interceptions, 19 interceptions. Has some really good years as well. He did 4,400 yards and 9 touchdowns. Like he had some good years. But eye test says he was closer to Jimmy. Like I watched Romo. I watched his entire career. My brother's a diehard Cowboy fan. I watch pretty much every Dallas Cowboy fan game just to say something to my brother. And Romo and Jimmy G, maybe not in the sense of a bit like statistically, but just what they did, like how they play. It felt similar, different skill set, but it felt similar. Real quick, we got where is it at? Somebody sent me the link, and I've been talking about it. Like, oh man, there's this stat about Trey Lance, and you know Trey Lance with a clean pocket for rookies, and here it is. Hold on. All right, so here we go. We got the next gen stat here, and is that big enough? Pause. All right. Here we go. Next gen stat here. Highest passer rating by a rookie quarterback when not under pressure in the next gen stats era since 2016. Trey Lance has the best. Now, again, that is when not under pressure. So we're talking about with a clean pocket. And I think that speaks to where Trey Lance is in his development. And I've talked about it. Like a lot of times, Lance knows where to go with the ball. When he's under pressure, and he feels that, like, you know, can he rush things like that? Like, yeah. And that's going to happen, right? So he has to improve in that area. How can he improve on that? But when he does have a clean pocket, which, again, is not going to be as ideal because that's not going to be very consistent in the NFL, he's good. He's good. So how do you continue to improve on that? There's areas, and again, a lot of people are going to talk about what Lance does good and not, and whatever. But clean pocket, he's good. And that speaks to kind of Dak Prescott. You see Dak Prescott on there, right? 2016. Prescott was great his rookie year. How often did he have a clean pocket? Very often. That team was hella good. That offensive line was great, right? Offensive line was great. He ain't had to do a whole lot. Remember the next year, though. A lot of people don't remember that. All right, so real quick before I get to this caller, got a couple callers on here. Let's get to Dak Prescott. His stats from rookie year to second year. Dak Prescott's rookie year, they went 13-3. Really, he went like 13-2 because he only played one drive in that last game. All right, 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's terrific. Completed almost 68% of his passes. Right, he was comfortable. He was able to lean on that run game. The offensive line was terrific. He was able to just like really be comfortable. running back led the league in rushing. Well, the very next year, the Dallas Cowboys went 9-7. His completion percentage dropped from 67.8 to 62.9. He threw one less touchdown with 9 more interceptions. And a lot of it was because, well, he lost Ezekiel Elliott for like half the season. He lost his offensive line. He had guys injured. And the game started to speed up. And he struggled. And those are things that kind of can happen when you are still in those early stages of his development. So everybody talks about Dak Prescott's rookie year. They forget about the second year, which wasn't great. And then his third year, 10-6. Okay, back up. And then the fourth year, back down. And then they went 8-8. They went 8-8. So, but he did throw 30 touchdowns and 5 picks, so that's not bad. But 8-8. So, there are certain things you can see, like, again, development. That's going to be a key thing. Let me stop sharing this now. All right, here we go. Got Mr. Roscoe's coming on. What's good, Chris? You're muted.
I was about to brush my teeth, but I'll wait.
Oh, 1 second, real quick.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, brush your teeth. They gave up 2 months to get Trey. Jimmy being the backup is no issue. We've all seen what happens when the backup isn't serviceable. I think you give up whatever for a quarterback that you think can be the guy. And if it doesn't work out, then yeah, it's too much. If it does work out, then it wasn't too much. That's just kind of my thoughts on that. Time will tell. But go ahead, Chris.
30 more seconds.
Oh, go ahead.
30 more seconds.
All right, 30 more seconds. Chris is brushing his teeth. You know what? We'll come back to you, Chris. Hold on, I'm going to send you backstage. Here we go. We got Daniel. Daniel, what's good?
Hey, what's good, Croc? I just wanted to bring up a quick couple points real fast. I know everyone's worried about Jimmy. The fans going to get upset if Trey starts off to a rough start, this, that, and another. Are we going to trade Jimmy? But the thing to me is like in the early beginning, the first month of the season, yeah, 1, we're going to see how Trey's looking out there. But 2, it's a matter of are we going to be able to protect Trey? If we're able to protect Trey and we're less worried about him taking hits and getting injured, then it's okay, maybe somebody else in around the league goes down, then yeah, maybe we could trade Jimmy if the line could show, and 2, Kyle can scheme up the proper play set to keep Trey protected in the pocket. So I think this whole Jimmy notion thing is more of yeah, it's an insurance policy, but 2, it's a matter of all right, let's see, 1, what Trey could do, and 2, are we putting him at risk out there? Are we able to keep him clean? If we can't do those things, then having Jimmy on the team is going to be valuable. But at that point, if we can't keep Trey clean, then it's going to be hard to keep Jimmy clean as well. So that's all I had for you. Have a good rest of your morning. Thank you, Croc.
All right, thanks for coming on. Here we go. Oh, real quick. Somebody said, man, we're going to have to get a collection to get Croc AC. I got AC for some reason because this is the back of my house. I don't know. It gets a little hot, but I'm hot because right before I came on here, I ran 2 miles. So my body was already heating up big time. My body was heating up. So I'm still hot from running those 2 miles. And then I got to eat because right after this, I got to go hit the weights. So a lot going on, but I had to make sure I brought this show to y'all regardless. Chris, what's good, man? You're on.
What's up, Croc? All right, man. This is some crazy stuff that I've been hearing this morning. Let's just touch on this Jimmy G, Tony Romo thing. Yes, as far as the turnovers, yes, I 100% can understand why you saying they're probably the same. But that's it. I don't know. My brother's a Cowboys fan. My uncle's a Cowboys fan. My cousin's a Cowboys fan. I watch the Cowboys every week. I hated the Cowboys. I hated Tony Romo. I used to call him all types of names. But then I had to realize, like LeBron James, of course they want to just do this right outside with the stupid little lawnmower and just be super loud. But anyways, like LeBron James, I had to realize, bro, I'm just hating. Tony Romo's actually a very good quarterback. Tony Romo one of his best abilities was making plays, was extending plays, something that Jimmy G does not do well. Jimmy G.
Okay, hold on, Chris. I gotta cut you off.
Hold on, you gotta let me finish.
No, because you're talking about what you're talking about is play style, right? Like to a T. That's not my comparison with the two. Just in the sense of like the results of them being a quarterback. And when people watch the Dallas Cowboys, when they won, it was like, oh man, DeMarco Murray, like he's getting off, he's doing this and that and the other. Oh man, like Dez Bryant had this crazy run after catch, whatever, right? When they lost, it was Tony Romo. And sometimes when they won and they have the comeback wins, it was like, well, Romo dug them into that hole, right? Like that was the conversation surrounding them. And I would say that's similar to Jimmy Garoppolo.
Partially because a lot of it was Jimmy G. And matter of fact, a lot of it was Tony Romo. And matter of fact, if you even look in the playoffs, Tony Romo actually had more to do with his team winning those 2 playoff games than Jimmy did at any point of his 4 playoff wins. I'm sorry, they're not the same. There's nothing about them that's the same besides the turnovers, their play style, the way that
Tony Romo dropped an extra point and they lost to a playoff game.
I know that. Okay, I know that. What is that supposed to mean?
Think about if that was Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, shoot. Jimmy G. Listen. Jimmy G.
Think about if we're in the playoffs and Jimmy G dropped that the field goal holding the. It was a chip shot too. It was like the 10-yard line, and he dropped it.
But we don't need Jimmy G to do that because he's already done enough negative in the playoffs to where he don't need to hold a snap and drop it.
They beat the Lions. The Cowboys beat the Lions in the playoff game because somehow, some way, they overturned a pass interference call.
Yeah, they didn't call it pass interference.
No, they called it pass interference, and then randomly they met up and was like, it's not pass interference on Kitchens.
Hold on, that does not negate that Tony Romo actually had more to do with that win than Jimmy Garoppolo in any 4 of his playoff wins. You cannot refute that, Croc.
Well, what about in their losses? Because he only won 2.
Oh, okay. Let's look at their losses against Green Bay. You remember that one, right? He was 15-19, 78% completion, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Should have been 3
not
touchdowns.
Good enough. That's not gonna cut it.
Wait, what? It should have been 3 touchdowns, Croc. It should have been 3 touchdowns. That was a catch by Dez Bryant. Don't do this to me, Croc. That was a touchdown by Dez Bryant. Yeah,
he was always short of the end zone.
Okay, he would have put his team in a position to score and win the game, bro. Don't do this to me.
To the letter of the rule, that was an incomplete pass.
Oh, wow. Hey, Croc fans, y'all see this, right? This man is copping please right now. Anyway,
I'm just saying.
No, Croc, that was completion.
Tony Romo, the way we talk about Tony Romo now, and again, I liked Tony Romo, but the way he's talked about now, you gotta rewind back to 2014, 15, 16.
I remember I was one of those naysayers.
People talk crazy about him.
I was one of those naysayers.
Let's not act like go back. Just go back and remember how they were talking crazy about Tony Romo.
Okay, here, I'm gonna help you out. When saying Jimmy Garoppolo and Tony Romo are the same person, next time just say Tony Romo and Garoppolo, they have the same narrative around them. But
there we go.
Nothing alike. Play style, stats, impact, none of it. But I do want to give Jimmy some credit. I know this is surprising. I'm about to give Jimmy some credit because somebody came on here and said Jimmy had no impact on games and literally brought up the Saints game where Jimmy actually had impact on the game. Jimmy actually rolled out to his left and had an extended play and threw it to Kendrick Bourne for a touchdown on Marshawn Lattimore. And I think
they had two third down touchdowns.
Exactly.
To Kendrick Bourne.
Even if the completion was even if he was inaccurate on a completion to Emmanuel Sanders, he still threw a big touchdown pass to him. Was it a touchdown pass? Yeah, it was a touchdown pass, right, to Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, it was, right?
Yeah. He ran for a touchdown.
So, listen, I dislike Jimmy more than probably half the fan base. I hate the way he played. He was a turnover machine. Had maybe 2% impact in playoff games, but I'm not gonna sit up here and say he had no, like, when you look at his stats, there was zero impact. He had impact against the Cardinals on Halloween night where he threw 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had impact against the Cardinals again when he threw 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And I thought he played pretty well against the Seahawks on that Sunday night where I think he completed 17 to 20 passes. Like, again, I am not a Jimmy fan. Everybody knows that because they all call me Jimmy haters and everything. But to say the man has zero impact, and I'm only talking about regular season games, I'll even give him credit for the Cincinnati Bengals game this year. I'll give him some credit for the Rams game this year at the end of the game, even though he really dug us a hole. But at the end of the day, long as because some quarterbacks can't dig us out the hole that they put us in, at least he was able to dig us out the hole. So, some of the narratives, like you even say, are to the extreme, and some of them are, it's either to the extreme or on a whole other side. So, yeah, I had to give him some credit this morning because there's a lot of nonsense being talked about today. But again, Tony Romo and Jimmy G narratives, yes, are the same. Play, no. All right, Croc. Hey, I just want to tell Faithful in there, week 1, we all going to be united. I mean, and listen, if Trey throws 3 touchdowns and you still hating on him, then you got some issues that you need to deal with yourself. But I'm excited. Week 1, baby. The Faithful is going to unite. We're going to beat these Bears. I'm antsy right now, Croc. Hopefully you have fun at the game, but we'll talk more about that next week. Faithful, we got the 53. It's ready to roll, baby. It's season time.
Let's do it.
It's hump day and I'm excited.
All right, man.
All right.
Here we go. I saw one thing. So, and I know we have trolls in here, but what is this? Trey Lance has 0 national championships. What? Like, where does this even come from? First of all, he does have a national championship. They won the FCS, the Division I AA national championship. So he does have a national championship. They went undefeated. But like, why do people even? Okay, I'm not gonna react. I'm not gonna react to the trolls. Here we go, real quick. Jeffrey Ray, anyone you see that we can pick up from waivers to improve the offensive line? Thank you, Croc. I'm not sure. I gotta kind of scan the waiver wire today, and I'll see. I'm excited to see who the 49ers pick up. Everybody looks at the 53-man roster, and it's final, but it's kind of not, because if somebody gets waived that they like and they're able to claim them. Now, again, the 49ers are really low on the waiver wire, so that part is tough. I think they're like 29th or something like that on the waiver wire. So if there is an offensive lineman, there are a lot of O-line issues throughout the league. It'd be hard for the 49ers to win that claim. My bad, I was saying they gave up too much to replace Trey with Jimmy. Trey is the guy. Jimmy is the best backup QB they can have right now. I agree. I agree with the best backup that they can have right now. I definitely agree with that. If Alex Leatherwood clears, I would grab him. Here's the crazy thing, man. I mean, you're a first-round pick. What was he, 17th, 18th overall pick? And you get cut? That's a little worrisome. Here we go. I see Terry doing backstage. He's like, nah, man, like you don't want that.
Yeah, leave Leatherwood alone. Leave him alone. I just wanted to clarify and clear up my analogy with the Dak Prescott and Tony Romo thing. I'm not putting Jimmy G in the same class as Tony Romo in terms of player for player. I know that Tony Romo was virtually eons in front of Jimmy G in terms of passing, in terms of being a quarterback.
Terradome, can I take a stab at what I think you were saying?
Go ahead.
It was Tony Romo had been the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. He had some level of success. You had a young guy come in and have to play an entire year with this other guy over his shoulder, where the moment Dak Prescott, if he slipped up at any point along the way, people were going to be saying, you need to bring in Tony Romo. He was the guy, he was the veteran, he was the guy that those guys had won games with. Not a whole lot of playoffs, but, he had been there for a long time and guys really liked him. And the young guy had to play well enough to keep the veteran off of his back. So is the situation similar from that standpoint?
Very much similar. It was the dynamic of a beloved quarterback and what he meant to obviously a great deal of the franchise, to include the owner. Was he dating Jerry Jones's daughter or something like that?
I don't remember. I mean, I remember he dated Jessica Simpson.
he had a celebrity about himself, right?
Yeah.
Pro Bowl receiver, like it was the ex. Who was that?
Dez
Bryant.
Yeah, he was a dog.
Pro tight end Jason Witten at the time, and we had we have a running game out the yin yang, just like they had a running game out the yin yang in Ezekiel Elliott. The thing we're missing is incredible offensive line, and I kind of wanted to segue on that. We need to go out here and get either Isaiah Wynn or Isaiah Prince. Somehow we need to put together. I want to get Sermon on the trade block to bring that in. I wanted to ask you another thing. I don't know if you've looked them up yet, but the Eagles, we were looking at Jaquiski Tartt, but boy, they let go of a free safety, and I want you to write this name down, Anthony Harris.
Yeah, played for the Vikings, had 7 picks in 1 year.
Yes, sir. He's from Richmond, Virginia. Lloyd C. Bird, shouting out everybody in Richmond, Virginia. He has been released, and from the sounds of it, I think Jimmy Ward is going to be hurt or put on injury.
They put him on IR, so he's got to miss like 4 games.
Croc, this wouldn't be bad. This wouldn't be bad. He's a natural free safety, natural UVA man. You know, we do things better in VA. We might want to look at that one. But that's, I just wanted to clarify that. God bless y'all this morning. My man Dion was on 100. You should have saw him last night. He gave you the rated PG version.
Yeah. That's what's up.
A little prayer for my man.
Yeah. He was very calm coming on today. I will say that. I could tell that he didn't care about. There was something Dion clearly was on his mind, but he came on and he was very calm, and because I've seen him even turn up a little bit on this show, but he was very calm coming on today.
Yes, sir. He keep it a buck. As we all passionate fans, y'all stay faithful. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right, appreciate everybody that has contributed to the show today. Shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate all y'all, man. We're going to be back tomorrow morning. I'm about to go get this lift in. Then I got to record Locked On 49ers. Then I got to train athletes. Then I got to record Locked On 49ers again. Then I got to record Locked On NFL Draft. So a lot of podcasting for me today. Got to go get this workout in for sure. Appreciate everybody, man. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully back at our normal time, 8:30 a.m. Central, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. All that good stuff. I'll see y'all tomorrow, unless any kind of crazy news breaks, which I don't foresee happening. But till then, I'm out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.